I am now recording this for posterity.
Oh God!
This is my vagabond brother, Sir Week.
You want me to step over something for you? Just so I can do it better than Dave.
And we are both. Oh yeah. Well, yes, because he did trip over the tree branch. Recall? No. He definitely avoided it.
He
didn't
steps over it beautifully. I was impressed by how well he stepped over it.
Most impressive.
Yeah.
And
I've never seen someone step over something so nicely.
would one like to clarify to our potential viewers whereabouts we actually are?
Well, we're
In this wonderfully idyllic valley.
We are in Stanhope Dean, in the fair town, above the fair town of Stanhope.
Are we anywhere near the Dry Valley, which is our ultimate destination?
We are probably halfway between Stanhope and the Dry Valley as we speak.
Yes.
We are sitting at the side of the Dean in what might almost be considered a fairy glen.
Fairy Glen.
God help us.
And speaking of which, we saw...
it is beautifully green everywhere.
It certainly is. And we saw a very interesting auspicious omen on the way up.
We met the guardian of the woods.
The guardian of the woods.
Some sort of cross between a dragon and a horse, and possibly even a bit of Celtic.
Yes, it was a very and there was many offerings to it left by maidens of the valley.
Tree branches, long since withered now, of course. But I think it's a ritual still carried on, I understand, in these parts.
Yeah, originally green and leafy branches, and as my companion has just pointed out, they are since withered with age. Very much like the crones that the maidens ultimately turned into. So that's quite poetic in a way.
That reminds us of something I read on the internet the other day. Dawson Chapel End were bought before they're 50.
Just panning round here. Hopefully this will get more views than the last one, because I think this is a slightly more interesting...
Views will come as they come.
Yes, good point.
And people will pick up. It's amazing
well,
what happens.
Yeah. Providence willing.
Enjoy the reflections and the beautiful greenness.
Speaking of which, there's a nice bit of greenness there, and there's we can hear the lonely call of.
Is that the bridge you were talking about?
Yeah, it might be.
Is that the bridge you were thinking of?
It's a different one. What might possibly be a solitary jub bird seeking its mate, but then my companion has speculated it could be something else, another species perhaps.
Well, any jub birds here are well out of their territory.
There's a robin. That's probably a good sign. And we've seen some quite interesting fauna today. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw bluebells and ramsons.
No, that's flora. I mean, the first thing we saw, which was interesting, we saw a tame bandersnatch on a leash, didn't we?
We did, yes.
A couple.
It was a young bandersnatch, I thought.
It was a
I
bandersnatch
wasn't really
pup.
looking too closely myself, so I cannot comment.
That's true.
But my companion, I think, will clarify.
Definitely avoiding it. Definitely avoiding its gait, because it has a bit of a basilisk gaze about it.
There was something slightly bowleaf gait as well,
Yes.
which they tend to develop as they get older.
That's very true. And they tend to become brindled, actually, as they become older as well. I think it's a sign of maturity.
Yes, they're well trained, of course. They can be very excellent pets.
They do. And what's a bandersnatch's typical diet? I'm curious now, because I don't think Lewis Carroll mentions that, does he, in his Wonderland write-up, as it were?
Fillet steak, I believe.
Fillet steak. Human steak, perhaps.
No.
I thought they were carnivorous.
Oh, yeah, fillet steak, though.
Well, they might have an omnivorous diet.
Yeah, fillet steak. Yeah. Fillet steak with peppercorn sauce and mushrooms is,
there you go.
is a good one.
So there you go, viewers. If you ever consider trying a new delicacy...
You can feed it on chips and pan-fried salmon, but you have to be careful with that.
I thought bandersnatchers were allergic to chips.
Well, I have to be very careful with what...
Unless they're only allergic to frozen chips.
Got to be precisely the right sort of potato.
No, that figures. King Edward? What?
Queen Elizabeth potato.
Queen Elizabeth potato.
Yeah.
Any particular shade or hue, or will any particular colour do?
Oh, if they're nice and if they're those red potatoes.
Ah, is that a King Edward?
I'm not sure actually. I'm not a potato expert or a potato fancier.
Yeah, that's right. More of a shog-off expert.
Well, Professor of Matthew Shoggothorpe, University of Keighley.
Yeah, and he's very good on geology as well.
Yeah, that's a rock.
And he knows some.
That's another rock.
He knows some very interesting people. I mean,
and that's a different sort of rock.
He knows a certain chap called Rogan. Is he the Wizard of Kells?
Rogan, the Wizard of Kells,
yeah.
In Upper Swaledale.
That's right. And he has relatives in Wales, doesn't he, as well? Apparently.
Well, we do not know. He has not clarified this, but I suspect there must be a connection.
Right.
With the Wizard Morgan.
Yeah.
Because Morgan is just an elderly farmer. But we know he is descended from Gwydion.
That's right.
One of the 3 golden shoemakers of the Isle of Britain.
And does Morgan also have a very extensive magical library, or is that just hearsay? Because I heard a rumour about that.
I don't think it's extensive.
Gordon's brother.
I think extensive is probably overrating it a bit.
Could he possibly have enough power in the library to generate its own L-space?
Oh, yeah, yes.
That's good to know.
No, I don't think he has need of an extensive library of his own.
Right. He's borrowed a lot of books which he hasn't returned.
Well,
Probably
yes.
typical.
Yes,
of him.
I think this is not typical of wizards generally.
They're very good at borrowing and not returning.
Yeah, that's right.
That might explain the Portal Guardian
I mean,
in the library.
his library is probably not as extensive as yours, sir.
But probably neater and tidier though. As you know, mine tends to be rather haphazard.
Yeah.
But my library isn't that extensive. I've only got about 1,000 books in mine. But there's some quite eclectic titles amongst them, actually.
I believe so.
There's that Jub bird again. Or
Do you have a copy of this Shadowed Northern Land?
I do not. It's one I've considered buying though.
It is.
It's apparently
recommended reading
yes.
for
Recommended.
for all the folklore and the imaginary history of these parts.
Right. Imaginary? Sir, you speak ill of this vale.
But this is not a real place.
True.
We passed into the dreamlands when we crossed that bridge further down.
Great minds thinking alike. I was just thinking this does seem very reminiscent of the Dreamlands, actually. It's got a certain fairy haunted quality about it.
Yeah, the haunted fairy just like that.
Yeah.
Just like Reese Mogg.
It does. And on that note, I shall end this part of our discussion. Part 2 is to come when we enjoy lunch. So we look forward to continuing that part presently when we reach 12 bells at noon.
12 and a half bells.
Goodbye for now, everybody. Merry part and blessed be to all of our potential
Let it bleep off.
to all of our potential YouTube viewers. Goodbye for now.